Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. How are you guys doing? It's been a while. We've not been able to come, down here because it's been a very busy week. Coming down from the Europa League, Conference League final. I think everybody was knocked out from this win. People were celebrating back and forth. A lot of things were going on, man. Yeah, but there's some crazy news out there that we were hoping to bring, down here to discuss with you guys. But at the same time, yes, we're back. Guys, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe. And once again, thank you guys so much. We hit 1,500 subscriber on YouTube. Amazing, guys. I'm so happy you guys have really support this channel. And I'm using this medium to say a big shout out to everyone that's subscribed to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, guys, smash the subscribe button and let's keep it going, guys. Yes, guys, we've got Dio on the channel today. You
Come on.
probably would be seeing this face regularly on this channel now. So Dio, we're so happy to have you today. Welcome to the channel, and yeah, just a little bit of intro from you. Yeah.
Appreciate you, my brother. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah,
Massive Chelsea fan, obviously. Otherwise, I would not be here. But
absolutely.
yeah, honestly, just happy to be part of the platform.
Yeah,
Any way that we can grow this community,
yeah.
bring together Chelsea fans from across the world, I'll always be up for. So yeah, man. I mean, if you guys can deal with some of my takes, man, my personality, man, then we can get down together, man. We can get down together. But yeah, man, it's a pleasure to be here, and honestly, I appreciate the opportunity, bro.
Right, Dio. Let's quickly move into because I know people just wanna, listen to the main business. We're here to give you, it's no more a rumor, to be honest. We know that Chelsea are pushing so hard for Liam Delap, and according to what I heard, he's already in London. He's probably doing his medical. Who knows? And here we go. Will definitely be announced any moment from now. Might be on Monday on sort of things. But let's quickly look into you know, uh, the rivalry that's gonna be between Delap and Nicolas Jackson, comparison, what should we expect, and a lot of things that we should be expecting from the signing of Delap. I know from my own perspective that a lot of Chelsea fans wasn't expecting this to come on board. People were thinking it should be probably a last option for Chelsea
Mm.
because we are in a kind of a shape whereby we need something really realistic.
Yeah.
But you know, it's becoming a reality now that we're definitely going for Liam Delap. So, Dio, what do sort of think about this Liam saga and what's going on?
Um. I mean, first of all, there's one thing I want to say to all the United fans who really thought you were in the race to sign this man. I beg. Do you know how many United fans were in my messages talking about, I can't believe you man signed him, this and that. You lot are not in the race. Like,
Hmm,
this is not a competition for you lot.
absolutely.
But, look, in terms of the lap signing, I mean, it's not a massive signing. 30 million is what it's reported at being.
Yeah,
So it's not an incredible amount of money, particularly looking at where the market's at the moment. I mean, players in the Premier League are flying for 70, 80, 90 million pounds. So it's not a terrible amount of money to pay, especially for a striker. Like, to get a pure nine in this market is ridiculous. Like, you're going to have to pay a lot of money.
mm,
So I think it's a good signing. Um, I don't think he's the final piece of the puzzle. He's a little bit of a stopgap or maybe a developmental piece of the puzzle. Obviously, he's very young. He's got a lot of development to do. He's very raw. I mean, we can all see his ability.
yeah,
What 12 goals in the Premier League? That's not an easy feat, especially at a relegation side,
yeah,
Ipswich.
yeah,
So it's a good personal performance on his behalf. And
yeah,
I think I saw a stat that said something like he's got the most percentages, the most goal percentage for his club out of any.
yeah. Absolutely, 12 goals. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's a lot. So you know, he's done well. He's proven himself in the Prem. Obviously, like I said, very raw player. So he's got a lot of work to do. But for 30 million, I don't think we can really complain about it.
Mm.
But I mean, comparing him to Nico, I mean, I think first of all, the fact that we're having that conversation alone shows that he's not the final piece of the puzzle. If
Yeah,
he was,
absolutely. Yeah,
he
yeah,
would clear Nico, because we all know
absolutely.
that Nico is not the final piece of the puzzle.
Yeah,
So to put everything together, we need someone who's sky high off Nico.
yeah,
But look, I mean, I think there are things that he does that Nico perhaps isn't so good at. I mean, he's a very strong player,
yeah,
as in like physically, he's very strong. I mean, we've seen him for Ipswich. He was great with his hold up play. Big body. I think he's like 6'1", so you know he's a
yeah,
big body, strong frame.
yeah,
You know, he can hold up the ball quite well. He loves to bounce off the centre half. So you know, yeah, that's something that Nico's okay with his hold up play, but you know, not amazing. I mean, I wouldn't say that that's the strength of his game.
yeah,
I mean, aerially, they're both quite poor. I'm not gonna lie. Like and that's one thing that I was quite disappointed at with this signing, because I think I spoke to you about this
yeah, yeah. We
at the
spoke about
during
this
the
in the last
Conference League
interview. Yeah.
game.
Mm.
We need an aerial threat. Like if you look across the board at our squad, I don't think there's anybody who would really give you problems in set pieces.
Mm.
There's not really anybody that you would consider a real deep threat. So to bring in Delap, is another player, another striker who's not really an aerial threat, to me is a little bit nonsensical. But like again, I'm not gonna like knock the whole signing because he can't perform that well in the air. And again, he is very young, so there's a lot of time for him to develop that part of his game.
Yeah,
Um, but like comparing him to Nico aerially, again, they're kind of similar, so you wouldn't really separate them there.
mm.
Finishing, I think I'd give it to Nico.
Mm.
I think Nico's a bit. I mean, what do you think about that though? I think
Yeah,
they
yeah.
neck and
So
neck to be
like for me, it's just a disappointing signing, to be honest.
really.
It's a disappointing signing, mate. The reason why I'm saying this is that you see, Chelsea as a football club, we definitely knows where we belong. We know what we are pushing for. You know what I mean? At this stage, we are down into the Champions League.
Mm,
We won the Conference League. That's a change of mentality to me. That's a total change of mentality. I believe the sport director, Stewart, or what's it called? I believe immediately we qualify for the Champions League. I mean, the orientation should be different.
mm,
The way, the direction of where we're going, I mean, in terms of transfer, should be totally different because now we are now joining the big boys.
yeah.
Next season, who knows? You don't know who you're going to come across next season, even from the group stage. You are hoping that you're going to qualify to the, a round of 16. You definitely need those, I mean, unchangeable, unchangeable signings.
Mm-hmm,
Signings that are very loud, that
mm,
people can be so like, oh, yes, this is bringing a massive change into the squad.
mm-hmm.
I mean, Delap, Delap, man, come on, let's be real. Do you wanna
I
do you
mean,
wanna do you wanna go into Champions League with Liam Delap and you're expecting a sort of a big result? No way, bro. No way, bro. This guy is far away from the top guys. He's far away from the likes of Victor Osimhen, who has scored 35, 36 goals with injury this season.
mm,
He's far from Benjamin Sesko, who has scored, loads of goals this season. He's far away from Gyökeres. Man,
Joker.
what are we saying?
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
So, yeah.
but I don't know, because obviously Champions League is a massive part of the season.
Yeah.
Like, can we also again? He was at Ipswich, but it is very difficult to evaluate a player's value when they are at a club like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the style of play is different. The quality of players around him is different. So it's hard to kind of evaluate him in isolation when he's got
Yeah.
all of that going on
Yeah,
around him.
yeah, definitely. I know what you're talking about, and that's where you can start thinking probably this guy might be, another good striker ahead of Jackson. Maybe if he's playing around the likes of Cole Palmer and
Mhm.
sort of things. But realistically, what I do believe is, you know, tracking records.
Yeah.
Those days when Didier Drogba, Diego Costa. I remember when we signed Diego Costa, all the defenders in England were like, wow, wow, they know what they're gonna face. This guy is a trouble guy. He can beat you from every. I mean, we need someone that can challenge the defenders. We need that signings that is gonna be like, wow, we need to. And what I'm trying to say is that nobody's gonna run into the transfer market just because Chelsea are signed Liam Delap.
Yeah.
You need that signing that's going to chase all the Premier League teams to go sign a good defender. When Ireland came to Man City, everybody start thinking, how do we manage to defend this guy? I don't know if you're seeing what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not it's not that kind of a shocking, transfer that would push other clubs go into the transfer window and start thinking of, oh, we need a very strong defender at least to hold this sort of striker out. So what I do think about this transfer is, you see, Chelsea are purely doing a business. They are looking at the potential of 22-year-old, 30 million pound, a very very good business, man, a very very good business. To me, I feel like it's one of the biggest business in this summer.
yeah.
Because if you can sign that kind of a player with low wage, I don't really think it's gonna hit above 100,000 in
No
Chelsea.
way.
I don't really know way, maybe 80K or something.
Yeah, yeah,
So Chelsea are cooking something that looks or works for the kind of a structure that the new ownership brought in. The age restriction and the
yeah,
salary restriction. So to me, I don't really see this signing as something that we need to be happy about. You know what I'm saying? But another way that I'm saying it is like Mark Guehi might probably be going on a loan next season, and Chelsea might be looking at replacing him as well. Meanwhile, they definitely need that. We need to go back into the transfer window and sign a striker.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
If we are a serious football club, we definitely need to go back and sign a striker. Then you can have Liam Delap, Jackson, and every any other striker that we decide to bring in. And
Exactly.
Jackson is quite good on the wing as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's mostly where he was playing previously, or Cam as well.
Yeah,
Look, I think you're absolutely right with that. I think the lap definitely doesn't push the needle for Chelsea at all. Like you said, I don't think he's really a player that centre halves would fear.
yeah,
Especially if you look at when he was playing some of the top teams in the league,
yeah.
he wasn't as effective as he was against your
Very isolated,
Fulhams
very
and
quiet in big games.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, yeah, I mean against like mid to low table teams like Brighton, Fulham, he showed out. But when you
yeah. Showed up. Yeah,
for
yeah,
City, he wasn't really doing much. Again, that could be the players around him,
yeah,
but just from what we've seen, yeah, yeah, he's not the splash signing like you said. But I think you bring up another good point though.
yeah,
How we evaluate this signing is massively dependent on what Chelsea do for the rest of the window.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he's the first signing of this summer window,
yeah,
or when we get the here we go,
yeah,
fine, he'll be the first signing. So we need to wait and see. Okay, are they going to bring in an Usherman? Are they going to bring in another player? Like, I mean, we've still got Nkunku in the books, who
yeah,
looking like he's on his way out. If
yeah,
we can manage to do some kind of swap deal for him,
yeah.
or get some money for him that we can get off of another player, so that we can make that a little bit cheaper,
Mm,
maybe they can work something out, and then the lap signing doesn't look as mad.
yeah,
So it's very difficult to look at if we're just looking at the bigger picture.
yeah,
It's difficult to look at this signing and say this is a good signing, this is a bad signing. I
yeah,
think the only thing we can really do now is really say, okay, how does the lap fit into our system? I don't think we can really like judge the club's decision making right now.
yeah,
But let's just look at the lap in isolation.
yeah,
And like you said, he's not scary, but I think he's effective and he does have a high ceiling. Like you said, it is good business.
yeah,
Um, but we'll see what he does. I mean, it's not he's like you said, he's not the finishing piece of the.
yeah.
We need more.
We need more. And like I said, yeah, why I'm really so much confused is that, okay, I've got some stats here. The
Hmm.
lap this season. All right, let me start from here. It's 22 years. Jackson is 23 years.
Hmm.
They've got the same height, the same height. They've got, this season, the lap has scored 12 goals. Jackson has scored 10 goals. I mean,
But Jackson was out for a little bit as well.
and mind you, the lap has played 37 games.
Yeah,
Jackson only played 30 games.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, expectation of goals,
Mhm.
9.34 for the lap, and Jackson 12.3.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, we do all know that Jackson mess around with goals, and that's why we said we need another good striker.
Mhm.
I mean, assists. Jackson got 5 assists. Liam got 2 assists. So when you try to compare all these things, you were like, "Come on, guys, what are you guys doing?" I
Yeah.
mean, we've got McGee. We saw what he done in Conference League. This
Com-
guy got massive, massive talent.
Super big talent.
So what's the point of bringing? I don't. And this is it. Yeah, I'm thinking that Chelsea don't really want to sign any more striker. And you will see at the end of the season. I think this is their decision. They're signing the Delap and that's it. And they're hoping that next season we go into Champions League and probably I don't know what's going on with these guys. Conference League is quite different from Champions League. Is a big stage, man. It's a big
Yeah.
stage.
Mm. I think you know what's funny. I think this might sound a little bit off topic, but I think that Cole Palmer signing really kind of messed up our management a little bit because I think they saw what happened with Cole.
Yes,
He was an
yes.
academy guy. He wasn't
Absolutely.
really that hyped. We got
Yeah,
him for like what was it, 49 million or something like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
and he flipped it to be one of the best players in the league the next season.
yeah.
So I
Absolutely.
feel like they're making so many bets now, trying to find the next Cole Palmer.
Yeah, yeah,
The league doesn't work like that, especially when you're going into the Champions League. You can't be taking risks like that, like you
yeah,
said. You're right, though. I mean, the stats. First of all, again, I want to take the stats with a pinch of salt, just because even if you look back at the Delap's games, for example, with his assist numbers, there are so many chances when I watched him play.
hmm,
He would literally tee it off for his teammates, and they would like dilly dally in front of the goal, and they just wouldn't finish. So those situations don't get factored into the stats. You know, he's playing with worse quality
yeah.
team.
Absolutely. Yeah,
That's obviously going to affect his stats. So the stats, I mean, the fact that he's close in stats to Nico
yeah,
playing a far worse team will
yeah,
tell you that he's actually he's pretty quality.
yeah. That's a good point.
Put
Yeah,
him in the same team as Nico, and let's see
yeah,
how he does. But again, he's just you just can't get around the fact that he's just not a huge signing, and he's just not going to be the difference maker, which is what we need,
yeah,
particularly considering this is going to be the season that ownership and the fan base are going
yeah,
to basically judge Maresca by.
yeah.
So if you're
Absolutely.
not giving him the best possible chance to prove himself by giving him not developmental players, but giving him players that are ready now, it's going to be very difficult to evaluate Maresca.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like, let's give for example, if
Mm,
we go into Champions League with this squad, and
mm,
unfortunately for us, we couldn't make it to the top eight, or
mm.
probably play a playoff, or we couldn't make it out of the group stage. How do you want to judge Maresca with that? At the end of the day, he's gonna come back and tell you, "Come on, you guys have not given me what I needed."
Mm.
And we've said this all the time. We're coming back to the same topic. Give us a good striker. We know we are floppy in the defense, but
Mm.
give us a good striker. We can still kind of, you know, walk around the defense line because I do believe that it takes a lot of time, but it's easy for a defense line to get choked together
Yeah,
within time. I believe Chaloba Kowi, even if we don't sign any other defender, Chaloba Kowi can still give you something tangible in the league. And you've seen what Tosin has done towards the end of the season. So if you don't kind of bring a defender in, I might not be angry about that. But we need a striker. We need to kill games easily. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know what's going on, but this signing to me is just awful, bro. It's
yeah.
awful because I feel like if we signed a very good striker, you want Jackson to play as well. You don't want to keep Jackson on the bench.
That's
You
true.
know what I mean?
Mm.
You mean Carling Cup, some other domestic league is there where he can also play some other Premier League games as well. But now when you have Liam Delap, how do you want to manage? Do you okay, let's say you're sending Gil on loan. How do you want to manage Delap, Jackson, and a new striker? How
Yeah.
is that possible?
It is very difficult. Again, maybe they're planning to change the system a little bit. I would say, look, that lone striker situation that we have at the moment is. I don't think Nico can play in that system. He's not even a striker, and you're putting him up there by himself. Like,
Yeah,
so perhaps the situation is they're thinking about putting two men up front, which would be interesting. But just going off of what we have at the moment, you're
yeah.
absolutely right. Like, I think it doesn't really make much sense. There's not really much, and that's
You know,
part of why Nkunku was so unhappy because
that's
it
it.
already didn't make sense with
That's
him
it.
and Nico, like because they were well, at least the way he saw it was they were kind of on par, but Nico was getting favoured, so he was unhappy. But maybe obviously Delap being a £30 million signing, like not a big splash player, you're
Yeah,
not gonna get him complaining.
yeah,
But like it doesn't. It just doesn't really make sense, like you say. Business wise, which is sort of how ownership are thinking at the moment. I mean, we heard what they said. Everyone heard the comments. They said they look up to Brighton's business model.
yeah,
Are we Brighton? They're
yeah.
a
How we
mid-table club.
Brighton? You
Like
know,
they're a mid-table club, and we're looking
yeah.
up to them. It
Yes,
doesn't.
yeah, a couple of weeks ago, Ebali released Ebali, or I don't know how to pronounce his name very well, but he released some statement and said, "Wow, he's so impressed about what Brighton is doing, their project." And I was like, "Man, stop fucking saying this shit, man. We know Brighton.
Oh,
Brighton has not. I don't even know. I can't remember when last they won any major trophy. Do
have
you
they won
know this
anything?
is Chelsea, man? This is Chelsea. We are a football club that has beaten all the biggest club in the world. Just of recent, we've beaten Barcelona to win Champions League. We've been Real Madrid. We've done a lot in the world. So don't come here and judge us with Brighton. We're so far away, man. So
Mm.
far away, and that's what's happening now. You see, these guys, if they don't stop what they are doing, next season we're gonna be flogged. I mean, going to Champions League, get flogged back quick. I mean, easily. I don't even see us winning two games from the group stage.
You think?
Yeah,
Nah,
I
come
don't.
on now.
I
We
don't.
got 1 or 2 games in us.
The problem is I do believe that Champions League mentality is different, and
Yeah,
the way and the structure of Champions League now is quite hard, man. You don't know who you're gonna play.
yeah. You could be playing
No,
like
you can't be playing like three, four big clubs, and that's it.
that's
We're
you.
lucky we're in the pot one, definitely. But
Mm.
when you look at the other pot as well, there's a lot of football club that you can't really kind of look down on. You know what I'm saying? Remember, all these clubs, they're coming from the first three of their league.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they are all good clubs. I mean, we saw what happened against Real Betis.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It shows that we saw what happened in the first half. To be honest with you, if if the first half formation is quite as good as it's only, let's say, Badiashile and Gusto. We should be able to do something. Forget about
Mm.
saying, oh, Gusto just came back from injury or so. But when you compare the amount of money of the players are on the pitch, they should be beating Real Betis in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Absolutely.
didn't happen. You
Mm.
know what I mean? That shows that there's a lot of competition.
Mm.
Okay. You saw what happened to PSG in the group stage. Where did they finish?
Yeah.
Real Madrid, where did they finish?
Mm.
Man, it's tough, man. It's tough. I know what I'm saying.
Mm. No, you're right.
Yeah.
100% right. Like the
So,
Champions League has always been a different animal.
yeah.
Like there's no doubt about that. You have to prepare for the Champions League differently to you prepare for the league.
Yeah.
You prepare for the next 5 years, six
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
The Champions League now is so important, and particularly again, like we going back to what we said before,
Yeah.
we all know the Champions League is going to be a massive factor to how everybody evaluates Maresca.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
we need to give ourselves the best chance to be successful in the Champions League. But like to that point, just to go back to the main point, like
Yeah.
between Delap
And
and
Jackson.
Nico,
Yeah.
like where is the variance? There's just not really much difference.
That's
So
it.
it doesn't really make sense. And another problem is, like you said with Gui, or I forgot how to pronounce his name,
Yeah, Gui. Yeah.
Gui. He showed us glimpses in the Conference League.
Yeah.
A young player already part of our system.
Yeah.
I said this to you on Thursday. How many players do we need that are developing? How many players do we need that are clearly showing glimpses and we're thinking over the next 5, 6 years or whatever? I mean, how many of these players do you want to bring into the club? When do you start preparing for right now?
I
It's just
don't know, man. I don't know. Like
yeah.
the crazy thing is that why not just why not just solving the immediate problem before thinking of the future? We
Mm,
fucking need the immediate problem solved. And the immediate problem being solved is get a good striker, get a strong defender that could, you know, protect us from conceding useless goals, get a good goalkeeper. We've got, I mean, but now we keep busy buying potentials. I see Liam Delap as a potential player because we haven't seen him in the Premier League scoring two digits in 2 seasons.
mm,
Nico has scored two digits in 2 seasons. We know this beast already. We know he's a fucking flop sometimes, but
mm.
we know him already. You know what I mean? We there's high to what we expect from him, week in week out. We know his ability, we know his potential. But you're bringing in Liam Delap now. Okay, let's go into the deal. World Club Cup is coming. Who are you gonna start ahead of? On the front line.
Now you got to start the lap. If he's available, you got to start the lap. In my opinion,
Really?
you
What?
look. My whole thing is not that I think he's better than Nico. Yeah.
Man, I'm shocked.
No,
Man, I'm
you
shocked.
know why I say this? Just because you know what you've got with Nico already. Like,
Yeah,
to me, the World Club Cup is just an opportunity for clubs to see what they really have with their squads.
yeah,
You know what I mean? In that little in between period between pre-season, the new season. Do you get what I mean? There's a lot going on, so it's a chance for clubs to really see what they've got with their squads.
yeah,
There's going to be a lot of experimentation going on, around the
yeah.
got
Absolutely.
Trent
Yeah,
coming in and
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah,
There's all sorts going on. So if you've got the lap, let's see what we got here. And again, there's going to be Champions League caliber teams in the World Club Cup.
yeah.
Let's see how the
Absolutely.
lap stacks up.
Let's see.
We
Yeah,
haven't seen him against Madrid. We haven't seen him against the likes. We've seen him against, Southampton. But Southampton ain't in the Champions League, are they?
yeah.
You
No
know
way.
what I
They're
mean? Like,
far away.
what we've
Yeah,
got with this guy, and let's see how much he's going to have to come along and where he's going to need to improve before we get into the season. And again, I'm not saying starting from the whole tournament.
hmm,
I'm saying
yeah,
maybe the first couple of games, see what he's about, and then bring in Nico if he's struggling a lot. But it. I mean, what are you saying? Would you put Nico in for that?
yeah. What the problem I've got is that I don't want this guy to come in and get lost. You see,
Yeah.
the big problem about these kind of players is when they get into the system and you rush them down into the system, if they
Mm,
lose it at the first blink of eye, bro, it's
yeah,
very difficult to come back.
that's true.
It's very difficult to come back. I think he probably need to go through a system. He probably need to start behind Jackson. You
Mm,
know what I mean?
mm,
Because if you start him ahead of Jackson, you are slowing Jackson down. You are creating a kind of a weird dressing room
mm,
whereby people start thinking, oh, you definitely don't trust Jackson from the start.
mm,
So I feel like there should be a balance. Let Delap watch from the bench,
mm.
come in maybe in 60 minutes. Let's see what he can do from there.
Yeah,
But I wouldn't try to start the lab just ahead of Jackson because there's a lot of things attached to it that I
yeah,
just mentioned. I want to protect my dressing room. I don't want the guys to feel like, oh, we've got a new boy
mm,
that they probably because immediately you start the lap ahead of Jackson, it's 100% showing that Jackson is definitely not good enough, and you are comparing him to someone that just scored 2 goals with more appearance than him. To me is to me, I don't really see it as something that really makes sense. you
mm,
know I would prefer to see him more like in the preseason. I don't
yeah.
mind him to start
Okay.
playing from preseason, but just trade away into the World Club Cup. I think Jackson should get a start.
You know what? I think this is maybe my answer is maybe geared more around the way I see the World Club Cup. Like I see the World Club Cup as like an extension of preseason. I'm not
Absolutely,
gonna
yeah,
lie.
yeah,
You get what I mean? Whereas
definitely,
it seems like before the World Club Cup wasn't really major, but it seems like now a lot of clubs are really taking an interest in it. So
yeah,
it's if we're looking at that angle, like we're taking it very seriously, then yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Like to keep harmony. I mean, that also does come down to how well Maresca has the dressing room, like how
yeah,
engaged they are with him.
yeah,
If he really has the dressing room in his hands, he can switch players out and
yeah.
they know this is experimentation. They
So
know if they've got that kind of relationship with the gaffer, they know, all right, he ain't just fucked me off for this new guy. Like, do you
yeah,
get what I mean? Like, you know,
definitely, yeah.
all right,
Yeah,
the manager's messing with me a little bit. Do you get what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
It
And
depends.
this
Sorry.
this this these guys, the way I do understand how the dressing room door works is everybody has got like a cabal. I don't
Yeah.
know how to they knows how to work things around. I remember some couple of interviews, is it from Mikel or someone talking about how they kicked a manager out from the football club, how Drogba managed to, couple of cabal from the dressing room were like, no way, this
Mm.
is our striker. If you're not starting him, then we're not gonna play for you. So the dressing room is more like, I think there's a lot more going in the dressing room than what we're seeing on the pitch,
Okay.
and it's also the reflection of what's going on. to be honest with you, these young boys looks to be attaching together. They start the life is kind of going smoothly. So
Mm,
I'm just being scared of something coming in, looking. I just feel like the lab just need to prove himself. Then
yeah.
we can go from there. That's what I felt.
I mean, you're right. I think you're right in that, but we also need to deep. The Lap has actually got a rapport with a lot of the team already. I mean, he played with Cole Palmer in the academy.
Yeah, yeah. Lavia also working with
Like
Maresca as
Maresca
well.
already has
Yeah,
managed him, so they already, so he's not brand new kind of thing. So it's not like he's gonna come in from like ground zero. He does have a rapport with some guys, so he might already be in some of those cabals that you're talking about. Like there might
yeah,
already be some
absolutely.
support for
Yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah,
But again, to the extent of that, we don't know. We can obviously see how much the squad loves Nico
yeah,
from last season. So, I mean, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what Moreno decides to do with that situation,
mm,
with the World Club Cup and preseason. Um, but I mean, to your point, ultimately, it's just with all of these conversations, it just kind of proves exactly what you're saying.
yeah,
Like he's not clear of him at all. And if it doesn't make sense to continue buying players who are of equal caliber. This just doesn't make any sense. It just
yeah,
causes confusion
yeah,
and content potentially in the dressing room. It confuses the fan base.
yeah,
So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is a player that Maresca wanted, though.
yeah.
And we don't really know. Have you seen anything about what Maresca said about the lap recently? Or
Well, to be honest, if we sign the lap, it is obvious that Maresca has got a lot of things to do around it because we know
mm,
they've worked together.
mm,
It's all about these connection things.
mm,
This guy has worked with him and he knows his potential definitely then, and he could see that this player is following the trend of what
yeah,
I've seen when I was working with him.
yeah,
And he's seeing something that he can also bring out of him. That's very much important. There's some managers, and that's why you see managers always work together. They are always addicted to some players. Even if those players are not informed, when those managers come in, they will do something. And that's what happened Rhys James when he went to England squad.
mm,
TT trusts James to the core. He definitely believe in him, and I keep saying that he would choose James 1 million times ahead of Trent
mm,
because James won him Champions League, man. What do you expect? What do
mm.
you expect from such manager? He loves this boy. These boys really gave it all in 2021-2022 season. So I probably think maybe Enzo is kind of thinking, Maresca is thinking, I've worked with this boy. He listens to me. He wants to play. He played the way I want. And if I bring him to this football club, I can walk around him. I can make his mentality, a massive one to adapt with the players.
100%. I mean, look, under Maresco, I think he got like 27 goals in 22 games or something like that. Obviously, it's like EPL 2, but it's still pretty clear that they had some
Yeah,
kind of connection. But I mean, just to kind of add a little bit to that, or just to sort of throw a little spanner in the work,
yeah.
do you think potentially them bringing in Delap, although they're kind of neck and neck at the moment, do you think that competition element with Nico will push him on to do better next season, or do you think that that will cause him to regress?
That's a massive question, but just in a quick short form, I don't really see Nico pushing too hard because of the lap.
Mm,
Because I used to play football as well. I play a lot,
mm,
but and I've got some quite ideas on how things works. When you are in a team and a challenges is coming,
mm.
you definitely knows that this person, if I work a little bit better, I might probably do well more than him. You see,
Yeah.
Delap and Jackson, they are more like under the same throw,
Hmm. Hmm.
man. They are more like under the same throw. Jackson would never see this as a challenge to me because he believes that if I work a little bit more, I
Mm,
could do more than this guy. And for instance, the fans have already got the fans in a little bit ways.
mm.
Forget about him losing some opportunities. Look at what he did on the Conference League.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at what he did from the first part of the season. This
Mm,
guy scored some massive, unexpected goals.
yeah.
If assuming he kept it on like that, he would have earned the fans totally. And by now, we'll be saying something else.
Mm,
Look at the goals against West Ham. Look at the beautiful goal against, against Brighton and all these things. Those
Mm,
guys really they were doing massive things from the first leg of the season.
mm,
So I would say Jackson shouldn't, to me, wouldn't see this as a big challenge. I feel like he would just be happy right there that all I have to do is to compete with this guy.
yeah.
But there's some signings that was going to silence him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He believes that there's no matter of work that I'm going to do, I can't start ahead of this guy.
Yeah.
You can't have Osimhen in Chelsea squad and if anything, it's just gonna be a dream for him. You know what I'm saying? You
Exactly.
can't start ahead of Osimhen. You can't start ahead of Gyökeres because
Mm,
these guys have got the track record. They would come into the team. They might not even talk to you because you
mm.
know what I'm saying. They just want to get the business done, and they are big boys.
Yeah. I mean, even when you bring in players like that, even just the financial element of it,
Yeah,
you know that you're not playing over them. Like
yeah,
you
because
know, how can you start over someone they just paid 100 million for? Like
yeah,
it's just not gonna happen.
and someone hanging around 200, 300,000 pounds a week. How do you
Exactly.
want to start? And that's why that's the situation around Sterling. That's why Maresca ship him off quick
Yeah.
because he knows that when you look at the paper, you were like, oh come on, this guy is earning 300 plus in a week. We
Mm.
signed him for this amount. He's a big player. You want to put him in, or you just want to. You don't want to, put him on the bench all the time,
Mm.
going and forth and seeing him on the bench, and the game is going wrong. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
so he knows what the right thing is, and he shipped him off straight away. So
Exactly.
that's what I feel about what you just said. Yeah,
All right. So how do you think now? Because obviously it's looking like this is a done deal. We're pretty
yeah.
much seeing it everywhere. In your opinion, how do Chelsea balance this out now? Like, what? Who would you bring in now? Because obviously, we all know who we want. We want the Osimhens, we
Yeah.
want the Gyökereses, like we want the big players. But considering the moves they've already made, realistically thinking, how do you think they can balance this decision that they've just made? Like, what would you do from now?
Right. The only thing I feel is if we want to justify that the fans' opinion are being heard,
Mm,
you want to push hard next season. You want to put us back into where we belong. We want to be back into the top for probably challenge for the title. Some domestic cups coming in, maybe FA Cup or Carling Cup. Do something big next season. You know what I mean? You need to go back into the transfer window and sign one of the big boys. Then from there you can now work things out and said, oh come on, Giwi, you can go on loan.
mm.
And with that, you probably will have to release Sancho as well.
Yeah.
Release Sancho, relieve Nkunku. Then you can have Jackson as a kind of a player that can play from the flank if he works.
Mm.
Then Delap can serve as a reserve striker
Oh,
from,
yeah.
from the new striker you're bringing in.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to worry about Nkunku. You don't have to, and then you can swap Madueke from the right because we've got too much of players. Remember, next season Estavio is coming back to the squad as well, man.
It's,
Don't know what sort of crazy thing is going on, man.
that's
It's
a
just
big one.
crazy, man.
Yeah. I mean, but to the point about players being happy,
Yeah.
how is Jackson gonna feel about being demoted from number one, number nine to now being moved up to the flank where he's probably not gonna be the number one choice? I mean, we've got too many options
Yeah,
easily.
but I think it's gonna work out if you bring a very good experienced striker in.
Mm,
He knows he's not gonna start from the top nine,
yeah,
but you are giving him opportunity to play from the flank,
for the flank. Okay,
which
yeah.
which to me he really do enjoy a lot.
Mm,
The pattern of play of Jackson quite works out from the flank. I'm
mm,
telling you, Jackson is gonna give you nothing less than 5, 6 fouls from the wing
yeah.
because he knows how to to move the ball. He's got a pace. He's got the dribble skills and how to turn around from the defenders and all those things. So
Mm,
if he play from the right wing, from the left wing, I believe it's gonna cause a lot of trouble from the
mm,
defense line. So, but I think he will definitely appreciate it if you sign a big striker. He knows he's not gonna start, but
yeah.
you put him on the flank will be like a very good opportunity as well.
Mm. No, that's 100% right.
Mm.
100%. I mean, a lot of that just all comes down to Nico's mindset. Like
Yeah,
a lot of the success of these decisions will come down to the mindset of Nico and some of the other players around him.
yeah,
So yeah, I think you're absolutely right. But to that point, it's actually quite interesting to go back to the lap. I mean, I think if you look at the way he actually plays, he drifts a lot to the left hand side. Like if you
Yeah,
watch a lot of his footage,
yeah.
you could mistake him for either a
A
left
winger.
forward or a winger. Like he drifts a lot. Obviously, like you said
Yeah,
at the start, at Ipswich, you're the focal point. You can do whatever you want. He floats about. He plays like Messi. Like he's
yeah,
floating about the pitch, doing whatever he wants. When he gets into the Chelsea team, he's going to have to play more central. He can't be moving into those wide spaces as much.
yeah. Because you've got those guys that there to get the job done. You don't have to, you know. Yeah,
It just doesn't really make much sense. I mean, if you've got Madueke down there, you've
yeah,
got Pedro on the other side. You know you've got all sorts going on the flanks.
yeah,
You can't have the lap drifting in and out
yeah.
and trying to get down the left so he can cut in and finish, or try to do something down the left when you've got all sorts going on there. Cole loves to drift over to the left as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Much going on. So look again to your point, it's just a bit ridiculous how they're gonna manage to balance all of this out with players, so many players with similar playing styles, similar positions. It just doesn't really make sense, but we'll see. But the funniest thing is, the club don't care.
They
Like
don't care
the
because
management, as in like the senior management, don't care.
yeah,
Because
they don't really care.
realistically, it's funny. You buy Delap for 30 million. You keep him on the bench, play him every now and then. In 2 years, you can probably sell him for like 45, even if he doesn't play that
Even
much.
if he doesn't play, yeah, that's
Uh,
the deal, you know. Yeah, that's the deal. Yeah.
it's
So
disappointing,
yeah,
man. It's just one of them ones, and I think that might be a reflection of just where the club is at the moment, and like
yeah,
what we as fans have been complaining about
yeah,
pretty much since Roman left.
yeah,
That kind of mindset, like
yeah,
where are we going as a club if we're thinking like that, or if senior management is thinking like that?
yeah.
We're going to be in this constant cycle of shit,
Yeah, because you
shit.
know, like a lot of people really see us probably having a good season,
Mm,
but that's a topic for another day, you know. Because yeah, that's a topic for another day because there's a lot of crazy things that people don't really understand.
mm,
The thing is, we're gonna come back to you guys and summarize what we've learned from this season. We don't want to, keep jumping into different topics. This topic is basically on Delap and Jackson, and we've, really come to you guys. We've spoken a lot, guys. Let us know what you think in the comment section. What you think about the competition between Jackson and Delap and all sort of things that you think is gonna, you know, you know, uh, be the result of signing Delap to Chelsea, guys. So guys, thank you so much for joining the live. Big shout out to Do. I mean, you're gonna be seeing this face most likely much on this channel. Do is probably gonna have his own YouTube channel very soon, guys.
come
You
on.
just gonna support this channel, follow Blues TV channel, follow Do. Let's get it moving on and let's keep growing, guys. The sky is the limit for everyone. Shout out to everyone that's been supportive on this channel. And yeah, we love you so much, guys. We'll see you on to the next one and on to Do now to say goodbye to you guys.
Nah, come on, man. Honestly, I think you wrapped it all up, bro. It's crazy, man.
Yeah,
But no, honestly, I just want to give a big shout out to you, bro, for
yeah,
bringing it to the platform.
yeah,
Like you said, hopefully I can help grow the community,
yeah,
and yeah, we can all just grow together and see where we land with it. But
yeah,
let's see how things play out.
yeah. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you on to the next one. Peace.
Cheers, guys.